Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. A Grim Reaper's cure. Killing disabled people to harvest their organs is perfectly okay, according to two of the most widely recognized bioethicists in the United States. An ethics professor at Duke University co-authored a recent article in the Journal of Medical Ethics with a senior faculty member of the National Institute of Health's Bioethics Department, in which they say if a person is irreversibly disabled with no abilities to lose, then killing them and taking their organs to save the lives of others is a morally acceptable choice. The abstract of the article claims, quote, "What makes an act of killing morally wrong is not that the act causes loss of life or consciousness, but rather that the act causes loss of all remaining abilities," end quote. The authors, Walter Sinnott Armstrong and Franklin Miller, attempt to reduce the sacredness of life by saying that if it's not immoral to weed a garden, it's not immoral to kill for organs. You can read more about the current debate on this issue by visiting our resource page. Just click on the link right outside the screen. Gingrich defending life. Newt Gingrich is hardening his political line against embryonic stem cell research, perhaps hoping to highlight some of Romney's shortcomings on life issues. Gingrich spoke to Florida Baptists at a church in Winter Park on Sunday, saying embryonic stem cell research amounts to, quote, "the use of science to desensitize society over the killing of babies," end quote. He said he would end embryonic stem cell research in this country, also expressing concerns over the excess hundreds of thousands of embryos trashed in fertility clinics, saying he would create a commission to study the ethics of in vitro practices and how we are managing clinics that perform such operations. The mainstream media points out that Gingrich flip-flopped on this issue, however, in 2001, declaring opposition to embryonic research at first and then endorsing it 10 days later. Challenging Catholic education. A Canadian Catholic high school principal may be punished because he stopped a homosexual activist group from setting up shop on campus. Ontario's College of Teachers has been asked to investigate the, quote, actions and inactions of Francis Jakes by a teacher of the Mississauga school for refusing to let a student form a gay-straight alliance. The teacher, Thomas McHugh, who worked under Jakes, claims that the principal's refusal, quote, put certain groups at increased risk, which is contrary to the code of conduct of members, end quote. The College of Teachers has 120 days to investigate the claims and decide whether Francis Jakes will go in front of a disciplinary hearing, while his situation is expected to have far-reaching consequences for Catholic education in Canada. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Honor killing verdict. A Canadian jury has sentenced 3 people to life in prison after a Muslim honor killing leaves 3 dead, while the judge labels it a matter of domestic violence. It did not take a jury long to find Mohammed Shofia, Tuba Yahya, and their eldest son, Hamed, guilty of first-degree murder after killing Hamed's sisters for defying their father's enforcement of Islamic rules regarding dress, socializing, and the internet. Prosecution showed the 3 killers were premeditative, killing the 3 girls aged 19, 17, and 13, as well as the father's first wife of his polygamous marriage, staging a car accident by putting the bodies in the car and sinking it in a canal. The Ontario Superior Court judge presiding over the case called the murderous actions despicable based on a completely twisted concept of honor that has no place in civilized society. And finally, CAIR-ful Training. What I'm referring to is the idea that the Council of American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, C-A-I-R, is being allowed to influence the New York Police Department's anti-terrorism training curricula. A documentary called The Third Jihad, Radical Islam's Vision for America, is being yanked from the anti-terrorism training course because CAIR complained about it. The New York City Police Commissioner is now backpedaling, saying over the weekend the, quote, inflammatory film was shown by mistake, making a quick point to add that NYPD's relationship with the Muslim community is a good one. The film, hosted by Dr. Yudi Yasser, president of the American Islamic Forum of Democracy, was created by a nonprofit company called the Clarion Fund, which says it is not a film about Islam, but a film about the threat of radical Islam. The Council of American Islamic Relations, by the way, is believed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation to have ties to Hamas terrorism. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And also be sure to check out The Vortex, where Michael talks about how both sides can't be right, especially in heaven. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.